Coordinated attacks across the country, all within a 2-hour period. It was, said America's top commander in Iraq, a bad day.
I'm fairly certain that it's al-Qaeda, maybe with some other groups working with them. It's about the terrorists trying to make a point about the lack of a government, trying to challenge the security forces, or they put doubts in people's mind on whether they're ready or not.
The attacks came just one day after the US pulled out its last combat troops, trusting in the ability of the Iraqis to keep the insurgents at bay. 50,000 US troops remain in Iraq, mostly involved in training.
It must be a worry that they can stage 12 or more attacks simultaneously on one day.
It is. It shows that they still have somewhat of a network that they can do it. I think it takes them a long time to plan such events, but it is worrying that they can still do it.
The attacks, horrific as they were, are no longer a daily occurrence here.
The streets of Baghdad are finally starting to feel like the streets of any Middle Eastern city, but that newfound sense of security here is pretty fragile. Now the US is pulling out its combat troops. Many Iraqis we speak to here say they're a bit nervous that the Iraqi security forces won't be able to keep that peace.
Like it or not, the Iraqis had begun to depend on the American troops.
They really give us a help, you know. When things get bad in Baghdad and any city in Iraq, when they leave, I don't know who will help us.
General Odierno, who himself leaves Iraq on September 1st after a total of 56 months here, is optimistic. But with more than 4,400 US deaths and more than $700 billion of US taxpayers' money, he is still not ready to declare victory.
Was it worth it?
I say to everyone, we won't know probably for 3 to 5 years. As if nothing else, we got rid of a tyrannical dictator who will no longer be able to terrorize the Iraqi people.
Although all US troops are due to leave Iraq by the end of 2011, some Iraqi officials, including the defense minister, have said they might want US troops to stay on longer. Today, General Odierno said that's something the US would consider if they received a specific request from the Iraqi government.
Terry, you talk about the ability of Iraqi security forces to keep these insurgents at bay. From what you've seen, how prepared are Iraqi security forces right now?
Well, Jeff, it's quite clear the Iraqi security forces have tremendously improved from the way it was 2 or 3 years ago. There are still some problems here, principally with corruption, but I think the real problem they have is not domestically but externally, facing any external threat from one of their neighbours, and that's an area where the US could potentially be of continuing assistance.
Terry McCarthy from Baghdad tonight. Terry, thank you.